Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And today's show, we're going to be talking about our energy, our patterns of living. How can we live and have real wellness, thriving wellness, super wellness in our life as real people with all the different dynamics that we juggle in our life? How do we align that so that we can really stand in our full energy, in our full power, stay on purpose, and navigate all those things day to day that can pull at us and can sometimes, take our energy. How do we replenish? How do we step forward in a way that can really help us thrive so we can show up and be all of who we are, with thriving, sparkling energy? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So I encourage you, my tip for the day is to be truly present in each of the things you're doing. Be truly present. And I want you to practice that in our conversation today. So resist the multitasking. Give yourself the gift of really being present, allowing us to pour into you, and you get to fully, deeply drink in and receive. This time is just for you. I'm breathing that in with you. Doesn't it feel good to be able to just pause for a moment and be? I encourage you throughout our time together to be. I invite you to have a piece of paper or a notepad, something where you can mark down those things that spark you, touch you, encourage you, remind you. Take a moment and jot those down so you start to bring them into reality. And then let us pour into you and be open to receive. In fact, as we're becoming more and more present, I encourage you, as you take a deep breath and keep taking deep breaths mindfully and purposely throughout our time together. Take that deep breath in through the nose, all the way to your toes. I even wiggle my toes to make sure I'm fully getting air and oxygen everywhere. And then out through your mouth, like through a straw. This breathing and becoming more present helps calm our systems, lowers our stress levels. I like to picture as I breathe out, I'm releasing that which no longer serves. Again, bringing in beautiful supportive mass energy and information. And every time I release, I actually create room for more to be filled and supported. And as you're breathing and enjoying this moment, I encourage you to put both hands on your heart and notice your heartbeat. And then I want you to notice that pause in between the beat of the heart. That quiet little pause. Close your eyes so you can tune in. And in that pause, in that space in your heart, what message is coming forward? Sometimes we're so busy or so distracted we don't hear that still, quiet voice. What is it saying to you today? What is it that you need to support you, to empower you, to energize you? What is it you need today that you are willing to receive because you have choice? To see how that shifts the information, what it is that you need and are willing to receive. Beautiful. Let's take another deep breath. Opening your eyes, become fully present. Beautiful. And take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart that you need and are willing to receive. That message that's within your heart that is coming forward today. Beautiful. As we are coming back fully present, I'm very excited to bring in our amazing guest. I know that you're going to enjoy connecting with her and hearing her energy, her story, all that she is standing for and bringing forward. And Lauren, I would love for you to share when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen, what was laid on your heart?
Well, goodness, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I feel very calm, and you are singing to my super well heart. And I would say, just always being intentional and really clearing our mind and just leaning into this beautiful discussion and how the two of us through this discussion can really help individuals to optimize their lives and the gift that we can bring just through our conversation together and sharing this mission.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. There's such power in being intentional and in joining together when we can create that community, when we come together. I feel like so much gets created and brought forward. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Listeners, you're part of that coming together. So I'm curious, what is being laid on your heart? What is coming forward to look at or explore or weave into our conversation today? We're all connected. And when we start to lean in intentionally like that, the connections grow. So you are an important part of this conversation. Excited to hear what is coming forward for you. And we are leaning in to support and empower and encourage you during our conversation today. Now, we are getting ready for our first commercial break. As we go to this time, this is actually a pause, a moment for you. Resist that urge to run around and cross things off the to do list. I encourage you, invite you to stay present with yourself and see what is coming forward that you want to bring to the conversation, that you want to write down on that piece of paper and have us lean into connecting and supporting. So enjoy these 2 minutes and we'll continue our conversation in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. And I find it can make such a difference in my day, especially those super, super busy days. If I can remember to stop and pause even for 1 minute, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, and I just breathe for a moment. And I pause and I center. Somehow the day always flows better. And I get to be more of who I want to be and choose to be versus reacting in those days. So I encourage you, we have pauses built in throughout our show today to really support you and encourage you to be present, to breathe, to have this be an interactive experience and dialogue for you to be able to drink in all that serves, release what no longer does, and carry forward those things that are going to encourage and empower you on your journey. Welcome back. We are talking with our amazing Lauren Pronger, and I wanted to share a little bit about her. You heard a little bit from her heart as we opened this morning, and really that importance of being intentional and clearing our mind, and I think even our space, like really being clear and present. Here's a little bit about Lauren. She is a certified wellness expert, luxury travel consultant. I love the mix of who you are, Lauren. It makes me smile as I'm reading through what we're sharing. So, luxury travel consultant and a founder of the SUPERWELL Living Method, a science-backed, soul-rated wellness blueprint designed to help women align their health with their hormones and their nervous systems and their purpose. I love getting all of that lined up. She is also the CEO and founder of Well Inspired Travels and author of her forthcoming book, which we're going to talk about a little bit today, called Superwell, Your Ultimate Blueprint to Wellness and Well-Being. She is passionate about helping you reclaim your joy and thrive. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the dynamic, powerful, and super well Lauren Pronger to the stage. Welcome.
Goodness, that was quite the introduction, Rebecca. I am just so grateful to be here with you, and thank you so much for your positivity, your support, and yes, I'm really looking forward to the conversation. Clearly, we have a lot to unpack. There are so many layers to all of this, from well-inspired travels to the super well living method. So I'm looking forward to this conversation ahead.
Beautiful. I am as well, and we're going to give a taste to our listeners. And listeners, I promise we will let you know how you can get more of Lauren as we continue our conversation because there's so much she brings to the table. And I'm excited for all that we're going to be able to share and talk about today. So I wanted to start our conversation. I always like to start with why. Why is this work that you do around super well in so many different ways? Why is this work personally so important to you?
Oh, goodness. Wow. That's a big question to start with. I'm going to do my best to simplify it. I would say, there's multiple reasons for my why. I would say probably the biggest one is going back to my journey back in 2011. I suffered from terrible burnout, and my husband had a career-ending concussion. He played professional hockey for 20 years. He was bedridden. My dad had a stroke. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer for the first time. And I had three little kids, and we were living all in different cities, meaning I was away from my parents. And as a mother, wife, and daughter, we, do all the things that we need to do, keep burning that candle at all ends. And I was doing all the wrong things. I've always been very mindful of my health and wellness, and I've always studied the body since I was a little girl. I was always curious. I was the nerdy kid going to the library and picking up the books on how the body works and mechanics and so forth. But at that time, I really was doing all the wrong things to try to keep my head above the water. I was not getting optimal sleep. I was not nourishing my body from a nutritional standpoint. I wasn't lifting weights. I was running. I was drinking too much coffee. I was having wine in the evenings. And really found myself in terrible burnout and at the doctor's office, and I was in the eye of the storm, and they were trying to help and really, had offered, okay, here's, a sleep aid, here's an anti-anxiety, here's an antidepressant, here's a synthroid for your thyroid, and all of these pharmaceuticals. And I said thank you, but no thank you, and chose to go back to school and really started educating myself. As we all know, knowledge is power. And I figured I was going to unwind this. I got myself there. And so, really, that was the foundation of Superwell's beginning. The genesis of it really
Mhm.
was from burnout to brilliant-ish. And we'll get to that in a bit. But
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing. I just want to pause for a moment because if we think back, all any one of those things is a lot.
yes.
And here you were faced with so many of those things at one time, kind of colliding together, the perfect storm, so to speak. And, trying to survive and hold it all together and reached out support, but found that you were just really, really getting so beyond depleted, but completely burned out. And yet you were able to come through that and learn how to unwind that and support yourself really powerfully. And you've done that to such a point that you are now reaching out and helping others. And I just want to acknowledge that. So I just honor what you've come through.
Thank you.
I You're welcome. And I celebrate that you are willing to share what you discovered, and bring that forward, pass that information and that wisdom and that insight on. And I know every interaction I've had with you and the videos that I've had the opportunity to see that you produce, you're always very authentic, real, vibrant, and full of energy. It's so as I meet you today, that's the experience I have of you, and always very positive and um, moving lots of things forward, but doing it in such a way that it's very joyful and you're present and you're focused and you bring it forward. So um, it's powerful to learn your journey of what's led to where you are today. And I think we have a lot to learn from you. So I appreciate you making time, especially with your book coming out just around the corner, carving out some time to spend with us and just share some of your insights.
Well,
Oh,
thank
you're welcome. And I know one of the terms you use a lot is super well, and it's core to so much of what you're doing. And I love saying it super well. And I wanted to see if you could share what does that mean, so we're on the same page with you as we talk about that.
Yes, I appreciate you bringing that up early on in the conversation because it really is woven through everything I do. It's my mantra first thing out of bed that I tell myself, and this is what I'm here to share. And that mantra is I am the well, striving to be super well. Why
Mm,
the heck not? And I'm here to be a guide for others to do the same. And it
beautiful.
from a deep rooted place of passion. And it is my mission. And it essentially comes from, we are all given genetics and issues with our family, whether it's heart disease, cancers, diabetes, you name it. I had a lot of issues within my family. My father had colon cancer, my mom had breast cancer, there's heart disease and diabetes. And there are so many things woven through our family, as we all have. And I really have looked at my life as, is that going to determine who I am? And or am I going to wake up every day and do everything I can to defy the odds of genetics taking over? And why? Why not? Heck yeah, I am. And I want to encourage others to do the same. And that is truly where this whole lifestyle and method came into place. And we can dive more into epigenetics, and the meaning behind that and what that all entails, which is, really just turning your cells on and turning your cells off by the choices you make. Whether that's, are you eating overprocessed food? Are you drinking too much alcohol? Are you not taking care of your stress management? Are you not getting good sleep? Well, you are loading that gun and you are letting those cells turn on. And this method and this lifestyle is a way to keep all of that on the off switch. That is our goal. And a lot of the
And let me interrupt here just for a moment because you're sharing so much that is so deep and rich. I just want to underscore a few things that I'm hearing. So it's not just suddenly you wake up and poof, you're this way. It's a daily choice that we're making, a daily choice in our mindset, in our attitude, and choosing to support ourselves. And then it sounds like there are also these other choices that we're choosing, what we're turning on and off, that we don't have to let genetics be in charge of everything. We get to make choices. Pumpkin is underscoring that in our conversation today. And that we get to make these choices as we go along and to pay attention to, are we eating things, tend to eat things that are more processed? Are we getting sleep? Is there a little bit of a quick checklist? That's what I was almost hearing as you were sharing, that are a good place to maybe start and pay attention to, have awareness around. Sleep was one I heard for
Yeah,
sure.
oh yes. Sleep is I think the most vital of all the pillars. And Superwell is based upon 8 pillars. And the number 8 is very intentional for the
Hmm.
interconnectedness, meaning if one of those pillars are not in place, you are not going to be your most optimal Superwell self. And that shouldn't be overwhelming or intimidating. It is about being mindful and doing the best we can to constantly keep those in flow and motion. And those pillars range from well-aging, longevity, to optimal sleep, to nourishing nutrition, mindfulness, nature connection, soulful connection. All of those are so important. But as you said, optimal sleep to me, above all, when I work with clients and small teams, that is my main focus, is really trying to help with sleep and then building from there. And as we talked about, this didn't happen overnight. Poof, I became super well. And I always say I'm super well-ish. I'm brilliant-ish because every day is a struggle. We all have curveballs coming our way. We do the best we can. And back in 2011, when I really started building brick by brick, habit by habit, I was just trying to build back my central nervous system. I was trying to
Mm,
build back the most basic things, getting a good sleep hygiene in place. And as the years went on, through continued education, I just kept building habit by habit by habit. And this is not an overwhelming thing. It shouldn't be an overnight poof, but my goal is to encourage individuals to start with a few of the habits that resonate with them and then continue to add to it. And I can certainly lean into, places where I think, are most important to start with individuals and the most basic ones that are essentially free. And people really undervalue the importance of them and how they can truly move the needle, especially when you start stacking them together.
hmm. Oh,
That's where the power happens.
I love that, the synergy that gets to be created with it. Beautiful. So, what are, if you could think of maybe the top three things that people could start to pay attention to, around habits, shifting things that can move that dial? What are those three things, top three things that come to mind?
Well, I would say first and foremost, one that you started off with would be proper breathing mechanics. I have gone through a lot of training for that. I practice a lot of different forms of breath work. And it doesn't need to be, again, overwhelming. It can be a simple box breath work pattern. It can be 5-5-5. It can be 4-7-8. And this is just really learning how to breathe from your diaphragm. Deep in your core, we are all chest breathers, which just leads to that fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system turning on. And being intentional about, as you started the show, stepping away, making sure, constantly checking in with yourself. Are you breathing from deep in your diaphragm? Are you grabbing that pure, wonderful oxygen that is sitting there? Or are you chest breathing and in that panic state and really finding that balance? So I think breath work is a really solid foundation to start with, and it's free. It's just learning the proper mechanics, and it's pretty straightforward. I'm also a big
Can
fan of
I, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I just thought it's so timely. We're getting ready to go to commercial break. I want to hear the other two, but would you actually be willing to walk us through a quick example of the breath work, and they could practice that on break?
absolutely.
because they may not know what the 5 5, those just may be new concepts. So I'd love for you to do that. I'm going to hand the floor to you.
Okay, okay, this will be great. So I would say let's just do a 4 7 8.
Okay.
So I would encourage all of you to take your left hand, place it on your belly, just below your belly button, and take your right hand over your chest. And I want you to pull in from deep in your lower belly, in that diaphragm. And I want you to pull in through your nose. I want a big inhale, 4 seconds. And then I want you to hold at the top for 7 seconds. And this is where the feeling gets a little uncomfortable and your body is kind of going into that sympathetic, which is like panic, panic, panic. I just want to release. I want to release. Now, this is where the magic happens. When you hold at the top, I want you to slowly exhale those 8 seconds fully out through your mouth. And you can even exhale and you can hum because that'll really trigger your vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve is how we tap into that beautiful parasympathetic system, that rest and digest. So now that I've kind of walked you through it, we can do it together.
Perfect.
So pull in deep from your lower belly, 4 seconds in. 4 3 2 1, and hold at the top 7 seconds. 7 6 5 4 3 2 1, and a big exhale, all the anxiety, all the stress. Feel your shoulders release. 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. It's hard to do it when you're counting numbers, but I hope you all got it.
It is. But I felt that little bit of like, anxiety shifting, in those
Sure.
final few seconds at the top, the holding and the down. I could definitely feel that in the release.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break, and this is a perfect time to practice that. So enjoy that beautiful breathing exercise and process, and we'll continue our conversation in 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed practicing that breathing and just noticing where you feel tightness or ease or what comes up as you're breathing. It's so powerful and to bring all of that rich oxygen in. So Lauren, thank you for taking a moment and walking us through that because I think we hear a lot about breathe, you need to breathe, you need to breathe, but we don't always get the opportunity to walk through ways to do that. So I really appreciate you walking us through that so clearly. And I know you had two more tips. You were giving us the top three, so I wanted to make sure we did honor that and share those next two with our amazing listeners.
Yes. Wow. Gosh. Three, Rebecca, that's just hard. I
I
can't believe it.
know.
But oh goodness. Okay. Just kind of sticking with morning intention. I would
Mhm.
say getting out in the sun and getting your feet in the ground first thing in the morning. That that means when you wake up, don't touch your technology, don't go to the coffee machine. Go outside, get your feet in the ground, feeling that healing power, the energies from the earth soil travel all the way from your toes to your head, and opening up your eyes to that beautiful morning sun, hearing the birds and how it really resets and trains because your optical nerves are taking in that bright light. And as we talk about the importance of sleep, this is the way for your brain to process. Okay, cortisol, come on, let's get going, let's get moving. That's our engine gearing up. And it's telling your body that this is the time to awaken and to know that we are starting our day on this beautiful note in nature. And it's training our body at the same time when we look at the sunset at night. And I always walk after dinner and look at the sun going down, how powerful that is to really create beautiful sleep hygiene
Hmm.
and optimal sleep. So I kind of wove that one in there.
Okay.
And then I would say the third and most vital too is also nourishing nutrition. I think so many individuals do not really look at how the power of nourishing your body as fuel, especially women so often have this mindset of more, push more for the intermittent fasting windows, and try to eat less to stay skinny. And truly, the more you fuel your body in a very mindful sense of getting that protein forward meal in first thing in the morning to fuel your engine, get your metabolic cycle going, and protein forward, like I said, savory breakfast, really keeping your blood sugar nice and level without stressing your system too much. And getting that gram of protein per body weight in each day or more, I think is so important in eating all the colors of the rainbow. Everybody talks about that super well glow, and everybody wants to know what do you put on topically? And I always say, actually, no, it's about what you are feeding your system from a gut health perspective and glowing from the inside out.
Hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. So much great wisdom and insight. And I like that. Sometimes we do. We just try to cover it up or put something on versus having it come from inside out and building these beautiful practices into our life. So thank you for sharing and giving us some beautiful tips. And I love that rhythm of the sunrise and sunset and how that can really be so supportive of our systems and of our body and our sleep cycle. Thank you. Really great wisdom, and it has a beautiful, nourishing feel to it. It didn't feel like hard and heavy. It felt beautiful and nourishing and flowing, which I loved. So thank you for sharing that so much. I deeply appreciate it. And I had mentioned earlier, and we talked about in the very opening when I was introducing you, they have your book coming out, and I'd love to take a moment because it's just around the corner and have you share the full title of the book, what it's about, why you're bringing it forward, why a book, why is this exciting and something you're bringing forward, and when. We'd like to know all the details.
Oh my goodness, yes. So very excited. I have three children of my own. They're grown, thank goodness now, but this is my fourth baby, I like to say. And
A book baby, I love it.
yes, my fourth baby, and the title
Mhm.
is Super Well, Your Ultimate Guide, actually, sorry, Your Ultimate Blueprint to Wellness and Well-Being.
Mm,
And this organically unfolded through demand by my community and individuals that attend my retreats, the small team executives that I work with, because it is overwhelming, as we spoke about earlier in this conversation. When I am really on my super well game, I can practice up to 40 habits in a day. That's not to overwhelm individuals and say that I do that every day and I'm the one that created this method, but it's really a place that I put all of these habits and all the science-backed information because everybody wants to know why. And the goal is not to have to practice all of these in each and every day. It's about picking the habits that you need that day. And if you're open to doing all of them, by all means, you are going to be one heck of a super well superstar. But this, yes, really formed from the demand of individuals wanting a tangible guide or blueprint, if you will, as to all the habits from AM till PM and the information as to why and some of the nerdy science-backed information that I have studied through the years. And I also weave in there my authentic, raw, vulnerable journey, a lot more about my burnout, a lot about my husband and his career, raising a family. And yeah, it's was my passion project and the legacy I wanted to leave for my children, my grandchildren, and great grandchildren to someday say, wow, that's my super well granny. She was really cool. And again, going back to epigenetics, also, really sharing this wisdom to individuals that just because you have these diseases and cancers and things that come up in your family, that does not determine that is your destiny. We are all in control of our own wellness journey. And I always say that with my captain hat, which we'll probably get into. But yes, I'm very excited to bring this fourth baby to the world. And I know it's going to be valuable for individuals that are looking for a place to start and understand because the wellness space is very noisy.
Yeah.
And this is a very
Yeah.
simple method.
Thank you for sharing that. And I love that it's such a rich combination. So it's giving you these habits and the achiever and part of me, I love to make lists and check things off the list. So I like that I have choices I could choose every day from and maybe even go for all. That sounds motivating and exciting for me. And I love that you've included the science behind it and the why, really empowering and educating people as they lean into this resource that you're creating. And it's your personal legacy that you're sharing and bringing forward that you're willing to share outside of your family with all of us, and that is such a gift. And so I know we've mentioned a couple times it's just around the corner. So what date will it be available, and are there any special things around the release of that? I know sometimes there are when a book's just coming out.
Yes. So the big date is September 16th.
Dun, ta-da!
Yes, we are going to have a digital copy available, and it is, yeah, going to be, if you are interested, do you want me to share the website now or later or?
Sure, sure. We'll repeat it at the end too, but I know that you've put together a special way that people can get the link right away because the special rate of 299 is going to be available for a very short window of time, and it'll be
24, maybe 48 hours. We don't know, right?
exactly, exactly. So I don't want anyone to come back and say, "Oh, I wish I would have known." That's why we're letting you know. We're excited. It's coming. You get to be in the know, and we don't want you to miss out. And so Lauren's created a way for you to get on a list that her team will send you an email with a special link the day it's released, so you have an opportunity to lean in to that 24-hour period and get it for the special rate of 299 because it will not be that after. So it's a great opportunity to add this valuable resource to your library. So yes, let us know how. How do we do that?
This is our secret early gift to you. So if you go to www.laurenpronger, that's LaurenPronger, all one word, .com/book list. You can click on the link and get on the list. And I know, Rebecca, you will put that into the show notes, I'm assuming as well.
Sure, sure, absolutely. We'll have it there too. And we want to make sure everyone heard it here that here's the opportunity to get on the list and not only be kept up to date about the book and get that special link as soon as it's released and available, you will also be able to stay in touch with all the amazing things that Lauren is doing and bringing to the world in this space. So thank you for sharing that, making it available. And for those of our listeners who are more visually designed and made, can you give us a little idea of what the cover looks like so they know what to look for on that magical day?
Yes. So there's a picture of me on the cover, and it's basically just kind of been my brand photo. It's a very happy, smiley picture of me with my cowgirl hat on, and it's supposed to be something that I've always been intentional about. I want to come across as your super well BFF, your super well bestie. I am here open with smiles and warm hugs for all of this. There's no stupid questions. I am here to meet you exactly where you are in your wellness journey. And that picture on the cover of the book is intentional for that reason, to be just your best friend, here for it all, and to walk beside you on this journey as we all need support and guidance from each other.
Beautiful. Thank you. That just made me smile
Aw.
as you shared. I didn't know the intention behind the picture, so I love knowing that. Thank you. And I agree. I feel like it definitely has that feel to it. So that's beautiful. So as you're thinking, your book baby, baby number 4, book baby coming forward, launching here just around the corner on September 16th, is there something you are especially excited about? Like you just can't wait for readers to discover this or for you to hear this. Is there something like that as your book is getting ready to go out into the world that you just are excited and waiting to see happen?
Oh, I love this question. Oh my goodness. So many thoughts. I would say, really just to hear individuals that embrace this method and start implementing a few habits and hearing the success that they have. Because within my community and even at the retreats, that is my whole purpose. And hearing the positive feedback from individuals and how, it has impacted and changed their life for the better, whether they are removing certain medicines that they've had to rely upon, whether they suffer from terrible anxiety and they've learned how to calm their central nervous system. That is just music to my heart. And it's the reason, it's my big why.
Mm,
Um, and also, there's some little, special, I don't know, sparkles in the book that I share some really unique habits that I have put together in a time efficient manner. And I love hearing just how people embrace certain habit stacks, like my favorite optimal Zen routine, which is legs up the wall or your headboard of your bed, laying on an acupressure mat, which is your bed of nails, and doing some breath work. And if you really want to get after it, you can do your red light therapy face mask at the same time, and your castor oil pack. Like there's just things like that that people are like, oh my goodness. But just having somebody start with even an acupressure mat, um, there are so many things woven in this book that are not just, okay, it's your typical wellness tips. Um, there are some really unique ways to habit stack time efficient practices, truly to dive deep into feeling your most super well.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I just started to picture all of that happening. And I love the tools
Oh
that can come in and to support and how nourishing and supportive they can feel. And I hear your passion and your excitement, and we're coming right alongside you as well. We're honored to get to be part of getting the message out and sharing that out into the world. So you'll also see us posting and sharing in social media as well if you follow us there. So be watching for those posts. And my ask is, as you see these things, so definitely get on the list, watch in social media, and help us get this word out. I think what a gift to provide this opportunity for so many women around the world to start to find those practices and habits that can support them in a very real way. All of us being nourished and supportive and having higher energy and less stress can only bring good things forward in the world. So I am excited. Can't wait to see. That's part of what I'm picturing, this spreading out heart by heart, life by life, as it goes out into the world. Now, as we go to our next commercial break, I invite you to just think about some of what has been shared with you. And perhaps you want to practice that breathing again and just enjoying those few moments. Or there's something that just really sparked something in you. You want to take a moment and really digest and drink in. So use this time for you, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and just had an opportunity to drink in that beautiful, rich oxygen and that support and just release all those things that no longer serve. Perhaps you have a page full of notes that you can look back on and see. And I invite you actually to look at the top of the page where you wrote down what was on your heart when we started our conversation and see what has been added in and woven into that. And based on our conversation today, based on what has been bubbling up for you, what is an action you can take? Not just add to the someday list, I'm going to maybe do this, but what is something you can do today that you will start doing? What is an action you can take? An awareness you can weave in, a habit you can add in and start to bring forward in your life. I hope all of you have added the date this book will be released. It's going to be such a valuable resource, so much in it that is supportive of you and those you love to be able to live in that super well space and energy. I love how all have been brought together in this on September 16th. And I will have Lauren share all of her contact information for anyone who wants more of Lauren and wants to get on that list. We're going to have her share that information one more time. And I ask you at the end of this time, now remember, the day doesn't get to be in charge. Sometimes we get tricked into thinking the day's in charge and running us. It's not. You get to choose. And in fact, you'll have a few moments at the end of the show before the next hour starts that you can stop and pause and remember what's most important for you today and who you want to be, how you want to navigate, and then you can choose to do that as your next step and your next breath. So take that moment, that pause when we bring this show to a close just for you before you step out to the day. Don't let it just pull you in and rush off. Have this time and this space for you. So, with all of that being said, we've had such a rich conversation, Lauren. I appreciate so much that you shared. And I know it's just like the tip of the iceberg of some of these things that you've touched on, but such great value. Is there something on your heart as you think about our listeners going back out into the world that you want them to carry with them, or a final share that you want to make sure they know?
Oh, goodness. So many thoughts here. I would say not to be confused, not to shut down, and be overwhelmed by, all that is out there in terms of wellness. And I need to be most optimal and truly just lean into a few of the things we spoke about today. If this is just the beginning of your wellness journey, I'm here for it all. And as I said, I am your super well BFF, your bestie. And really just starting with some basic practices and learning to take it one day at a time, one breath at a time. And slowly but surely, you will be gaining more confidence in trusting this process and this method. And before you know it, you will be feeling your most super well. So, just words of encouragement for you. Do not overwhelm yourself because I know there's a lot out there. And these are all practices that are essentially free or very inexpensive. And I'm here for all the questions along the way to hold your hand.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I always think sometimes we can look at it as a baby step, a baby shift. Those all add up
Yes, the
and
micro
keep,
habits.
yeah, and they keep you moving in a direction. What a beautiful opportunity to have support along that way and a friend to walk beside us and cheer us on, because it is a journey that can be challenging and you're in it. So it's so nice to have someone come alongside and cheer you along and give some direction and support along the way. So I appreciate you standing in that space for so many and bringing such a valuable resource forward. So, do
Yeah.
you mind sharing all of your contact information? How can we get more of you, go deeper, and absolutely that link for your special list for the book?
Yes. And one other thing,
Sure.
in addition to the book, for individuals that really want more of like a video content, I have a very in-depth digital course on my website that goes through each one of the pillars. There's over 40 videos, there's PDFs, deliverables, recipes, and it leans into each pillar in very granular sense. So for individuals that buy the book and also want the video and more of that access, that is on the website. And speaking of the website, I will share that information. So the website is www.laurenpronger. That's LaurenPronger .com. Sorry. And then the book list one is same thing, www.laurenpronger.com/book list. And if you want to go for all the fun, where all the action and all the crazy Superwell stuff happens, I am famous for my Instagram page, and that is Lauren, Lauren underscore Pronger, Pronger. That just opened 9 months ago. It used to be on private because of my husband and all of his fans and so forth, but now I'm sharing it with the world. So this is just the beginning. So come along for the fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'm excited. Congratulations on sharing that out with the world. That's a gift to all of us. And I again thank you for being on our show, sharing your heart, your passion, your wisdom and insight on helping us be able to step into and embrace living in a super well way. Thank you. And listeners, I want to thank you for leaning into this conversation. I hope you've been encouraged, inspired, have written down a couple things that you can start to put into practice today, not someday, today, to start supporting you and living a empowered, super well life. Remember that you are a gift. There's no one else in the world just like you, and that's on purpose and by design, and you are absolutely needed just the way you are made. The biggest gift you can give the world is more of you. And then if we can dial that up and make it more of you that is super well, so there's more of you to share, it just became a brighter place. So as you go forward, you go back out into the world, remember to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.